New potato patch, old potato patch. I just pulled the blue tarp off of it, and I was harvesting last fall and was kind of just like scooping the soil over this way. So I have a big old hump over here and a big old dip over here. So I am shoveling out the hump and dipping it over into the dip. Oakley dokley, looking back at my project. I formed pathways so I wouldn't step on the beds, and I evened everything out. And then I put a sheet of Typar over the top of the blue tarp so that, you know, light won't come through. So hopefully it'll suppress the grasses over there. Yeah, cover crop next, I guess. Yeah, so I'm looking at some different spots out here where I'm not going to have a crop on. So I want to get, like, you know, take advantage of the empty spaces and at least get some nutrients into the soil. Okay, so I'm finished with that project for now, and I just wanted to, before I go in the house, do a checkaroo on this bed right here where I still had carrots, almost a whole bed of carrots sitting here through the winter, and wanted to see if they survived. Well, they didn't. They've gotten frozen, they've rotted all the way down, which kind of solves that problem for me. I don't have to try and get carrots out and do anything with them. Yeah, that's a carrot bed, and this was a baby chard bed, I believe it was. And so I think both these beds are going to be in sugar snap peas, so I got to put up a trellis. So that solves that question kind of once and for all, I think. I thought that seaweed, if it was thick enough, could keep the carrots from freezing, because it has in the past. But that was probably because we had some snow on the ground that also provided some insulation, because this winter we pretty much had no snow except for like at the very beginning. And then we had some really cold snap below freezing temperatures that probably got the carrots. So anyway, good to know. I got to get the carrots out of the ground if I want to have carrots. I still have a few carrots up in the refrigerator from months and months and months and months and months and months and months ago. Okay, folks, so it's been raining and raining and raining. I've been in the house kind of trying to design my irrigation system for the NRCS tunnel that's going to go out here. But it's just supposed to drizzle all day today, so I thought I'd take this chance to move some material around, because tomorrow is supposed to be overcast and maybe the only day that I'll have a chance to do some direct seeding this week. So I'm going to start out with moving the seaweed off this bed, because I'm planting peas and clover in here. I don't need all this nutrients, so it's kind of a waste. So I'm just going to get it out of here. The plan is to move it over to the Hugelkultur over there. Before and after. I do need to shovel out this pathway and throw it onto this bed or something, but I think I'm going to wait until I pull this cover off tomorrow. So anyway, this is where everything went. Okay, dudes, so those are the 2 beds that I unearthed yesterday for peas, and these are the 3 beds that are going to be in carrots that supposedly I'm going to seed today. I have a handful of hours before it's supposed to start sprinkling, and so I need to first, dig that pathway out between the pea beds and the carrot bed here. And so this BioMulch has been on here for 3 weeks. I don't know if the soil got warm enough, because it's been cool. We've had nights even in the 30s Fahrenheit still. So I don't know if it got warm enough to germinate the weed seeds and then kill them off. So this is the first year that I've tried this BioMulch, and it doesn't keep the horsetail from coming up. So, yeah, it just pops right through it. Okay, so I just pulled this section of the BioMulch off, and what I'm seeing are weeds coming up that haven't been killed off yet. So this stuff needs to be on here for longer if it's gonna work. This is the pathway right here that I need to dig out. Okay, so this is my conundrum. In the winter when I was ordering seed, I took a look at my carrot seed and I was like, that looks like enough. And so this morning, I actually weighed my carrot seed and it's not quite enough to do 3 beds with 7 rows each. I have almost 3 ounces of seed. This is the Yaya from last year. 1.55 ounces of Giants of Colmar from last year. And so, you know, I've been kind of going back and forth. Well, you know, I don't know if the weeds have really been killed off. Maybe I should, instead of seeding 7 rows, which doesn't allow me to weed, it's just too close of a spacing. Maybe I should do 5 rows like I've done in the past, and then I can weed between the carrot rows. And so I barely have enough seed to do 3 beds, 5 rows each. I'm in the middle of digging out my pathway, and I popped in to look at the greenhouse. Oh my goodness, look at all the horsetail. This is my other greenhouse. Can you see? Oh. I've got orach growing. Oh my goodness. Oakley dokley. Pathway formed, and I'm gonna cover this back up. The only thing that concerns me about these little weeds is they've got green tops, almost like they're getting light, right? Shouldn't they just be white and sad? So I hope that stuff is blocking out light so that I don't come back in a week or so and uncover them and find that I've got like a big old forest of weeds that are nicely established. Okay, so I was gonna plant some peas, but then I got sidetracked and I pulled the tarps and put over this grassy area. So I've got a big tarp of that in, you know, doubled up tarp at this end. Yeah. So then I was like, oh shoot, man, these clouds are looking like, ooh. So I was thinking maybe I should just go ahead and pull the row cover off that one garlic. That garlic had just a seaweed mulch that the birds were really going through. This other ones, they were seaweed and leaves, and the birds weren't bothering it as much. Okay, so you can see the difference now, right? Bigger, tinier. And I usually cover all the garlic beds in the spring, but I didn't have a chance this year. So this guy's gonna come on sooner than these guys. Planting sugar snap peas in the rain. I didn't want to leave these beds uncovered because the birds are going to be scratching in them. Oh, I'm fogging up. So I planted sugar snap peas. I was going to do every 4 inches because last year I did every 2 inches, and man, that was a lot of bush. And but then I was like poking seeds down into this bed here where the carrots were, and it was going down into like rotten carrots and tunnels and stuff. So I thought I better do every 2 inches so that just in case some of them don't germinate. So we got sugar snap peas every 2 inches in these 2 beds. I've got my mint pots covered up in here for the winter, so I'm just going to take these guys out and plop them between the greenhouses where they were last year for now. Okay, dudes, so I'm going to try and talk over the rain. This morning I ordered some more carrot seed because I've decided to leave the BioMulch out on all the beds. Because this week I was hoping to be able to get, you know, the carrots seeded, but not only the carrots, but also like the baby kale and the baby lettuce and things like that. Get those first successions going. Okay, so the rain stopped for a minute, so I'm gonna try and talk. Yes. I decided that I'm going to leave the BioMulch on the beds for another couple weeks. If I'm late, it's okay. I can sell carrots into the fall. This is just a weird season, okay? Yeah, I thought, okay, that BioMulch is supposed to smother the weeds. So I'm going to assume that it's going to work, okay? So that's number one. And then the other thing I was thinking, that not only the weeds, but there'll be little critters and pests hatching out. So if they can just like not hatch out, that would be awesome too. Yeah. And also I was thinking that, you know, since I've discovered that carrots don't overwinter unless there's snow on the ground, I had bought those Giants of Colmar variety carrots because they kind of were supposed to overwinter a little bit better. And since I'm not going to do that in the future, I don't want to plant Giants of Colmar carrots. I want to just plant the Yaya variety because they taste better. And they've been keeping in the refrigerator pretty well. So I'm just getting... that means I have to order new seed, right? And so I just bought all new Yaya seed. And while I was at it, I thought, you know, that new potato patch that I have, there's a lot of bare soil all around it. It's just going to grow weeds and grasses. So like, what do I do for some sort of cover crop thing? Do I plant clover? But if I plant clover, then I can't dig into it very easily later. And so I thought, well, I could get a plant that spreads its leaves out everywhere. And I was looking at plants that maybe deer don't eat. And it was saying that squash plants, once they get big enough, the deer don't really like to eat the leaves as much. So I bought some squash plants. And yeah, so now I'm out here in the greenhouses, and my plan is to get all this horsetail out and then put this seaweed on the beds. I think that's everything. Here I go. Weeds weeded and seaweed seaweeded. Okay, so I thought I was gonna get 2 greenhouses done, but no way, man. Okay, next time I need to get a seed mix that's more uniform, or maybe just one type of seed, because I can't Jang seed this, so yeah. This is crazy. Let's try this. Okay, dudes, so I just broadcast the seed on top of the soil, and I'm just assuming that it'll be able to germinate, put down roots, because we've got a whole week of just rain. Yeah, and then I just put insect netting on the top so the birds can't get in. And so this is not a long-term solution for how I would seed a cover crop. On to the next thing. Okay, so I need to start some transplants. So I had to change my whole garden plan. Everything's going to be mostly direct seeded, but I do need to transplant some things. I think it's 4 things: parsley, green onions, bok choy for the bed ends to attract the slugs away from stuff, and then I need to start some basil for the greenhouses. So I have these old trays that I used a long time ago, and then I started making soil blocks because it took a lot less soil. And yeah, the soil blocks are really nice, but I don't have time to fiddle around with that. So I'm grabbing these out. I've got potting soil that I was going to use to make the soil blocks, so I can just throw that in here. Okay, so this dry soil is not going to wet very easily, so I think I need to wet it first and then put it in the trays and then start the seeds. I'm gonna have to move where there's some water. Okay, dudes, so because I have to wet the soil, it's just as easy, almost as easy, I think, to make soil blocks. And so I started with my janky homemade soil block maker, and then it fell apart. And so I'm going with this soil block maker that I've never been able to work because the soil kind of just falls out of it. Well, long story. I'll talk about that in future videos. I'm just you know, whatever falls out, I just pack it by hand. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. Basil from 2024, 2 seeds per cell. I ran out of seed, so 1 tray is going to be basil 2023. Half a tray of Italian parsley 2023. Curly parsley from this year. I don't have very much bok choy seed left, so I'm just going to use the stuff I saved of my own from 2023. 1 tray of green onions, 12 seeds per cell. I was able to get some vermiculite instead of perlite this year, and man, it flows so much easier into the little cells. Green onions, parsley, and bok choy. Basil.
What you doing with your big ears? Hello? Dee-doo, 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 dee-doo.